Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you had a wonderful Christmas holiday and a wonderful New Year's holiday. I was not able to post a video yesterday. Didn't think I was going to be able to post a video today, but I'm so glad that I'm able to get a video up for you all. So I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So let's get into it.
What part of Africa, when you say the culture go back to Africa, Africa is made up of thousands of different cultures. I know to you they all look the same because they're all black, but they have different cultures, different languages, they're from different ethnic groups. I mean, wow, for you to be so motivated and knowledgeable, right? At least you will acknowledge them with respect. But instead, you do what y'all always do, Africans, right? Because you think Africa is a culture, you think Africa is a country, you think Africa is a people, right? It's a continent. When I was in Nigeria, they even told us, don't go to the countryside. It's dangerous, yada, yada, yada. They do not love us there. That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. I can tell you've never been to any of the countries in Africa. If you truly believe that, unless you got some money, you get these celebrities that go there with all that money. They be out there on the white sand beach. Oh yeah, come here. They love us. No, BS. They love you. Let an average American, average person, just like me, go over there, right? Average job. You're going to be living in poverty. Don't think you're going over there, you're going to be living it up. You're going to be poor. And then on top of that, this whole concept, oh yeah, they love us, yada, yada, that shit you see on TV. Go to Africa right now. See how much they love you. Go over there. See for yourself. Go to any country. See for how much they love you and want you to come back. They don't care about you. They don't care. They live in their lives. You live in a first world country, privileged country with way more opportunities than they ever will have. And you sitting here complaining and whining. Then move over there, but y'all won't. Because damn well it's dangerous. You think racism is bad over here? Go over there. Let them find it from a different ethnic group, depending on where you at. They have straight up ethnic cleansings over there. Genocides and wars just off of a person's ethnic background or culture. Y'all don't know anything about true racism. Go over there. See reality. And when if America falls and this world go to war and there's no more NATO or UN over there giving aid and all that, Africa is going to turn into a huge murder bowl. It's going to be a huge genocides and wars now fully unchecked. But y'all don't know what y'all talking about because you sit here in your privileged first world American country in your nice little home with your AC running. And you got your little Starbucks macchiato beside you while you got your little fan going and you're over here talking about the oppression of your people. Come on now. Culture goes back to Africa, but you don't even know that Africa is a continent. I bet you can't tell me now one African country out of the more popular ones. You can't tell me no African cultures or prints or anything, right? You the type of person who buy dashiki and say, oh yeah, this is African, this is my culture. Not every single African wears dashikis. It's not part of every single one of their cultures. You know that, right? But that's how you paint it, right? Because they're all Africans, right? Want to be smart.
So I do get comments in my comment section where people are like, don't respond to these types of videos. There's no point in entertaining these types of people. And I always respond with, there's so much misinformation that's floating around social media that it's important to always combat misinformation with truth and to make people see other sides of things, other perspectives, so that they can get a balanced understanding of various topics. Because social media has become the education for a lot of people, unfortunately. They are not going to read books. They are not reading books. They're not researching on their own. They're getting educated by Google and social media. And so since that's the case, when we have these types of videos going on, then it's my job. I'm going to make it my job to be the one to be like, no, this is not right. This is 100%, 1,000% inaccurate. And I'm going to speak on it every single time I find a video like this, because I feel like it is high time that there be truth out there. Now, we all know that there's different truths. Everybody has their own truth. And I think that is the beauty of humanity. That's the beauty of the human mind. And so that's why it's important that when these things like this are floating around, that there's always another perspective to say, this is wrong, this isn't right, you need to go and research things yourself before you just start believing everything. And all on my YouTube channel, I always say, go research things for yourself. Don't take somebody's word for anything. You have a mind. You can go and explore things yourself. You can go read. You can go find things out yourself if you want to. It's out there. It is readily available. And a lot of the misinformation that's spread on social media, you can easily teach yourself or know that it's wrong just by going and researching and reading and seeing, you know what, this person doesn't even know what they're talking about. Now, he had me at first. At first, I thought he was going to say something. And then he went down, down, down to the bottom of the sea. I mean, he lost it. I'm just like, for real? So let's talk about what he had to say in this video, because he had a lot to say. Usually, when African Americans make these types of videos where they start to kind of demonize the African continent, they are really doing it to try to scare off other African Americans from wanting to go to the African continent, to want to learn about the continent, to have a relationship with the people of the African continent, to have a desire to connect to the people of the African continent. And so what they start to do is they start to try to get them with fear. And so this African American man, all through this video, is trying to get it with fear. He's trying to let the African Americans know who have a desire to have any connection to the African continent that the African continent is very bad. The people in it are bad. The situation there is bad, and you should just be happy that you're not from there. And so that's what you start to hear. And you start to hear a lot of the stereotypical talking points that has been pushed in the minds of Americans for a very long time. And not just Americans, but to the entire world. When people are talking about the African continent, they're still looking at this continent as a dark continent. In reality, there's so much light in it. And it is when you go there, when you see the people, when you experience it, it's a light. And so to continue to make it seem as if it's this dangerous and dark and twisted type of continent, that is to keep people from going there. And that is to keep the continent isolated from the world. And so when you continue to spread that, people, of course, start to believe it. And so that's what he's doing. He is trying to nit and pick and try to find the darkest of the African continent so that he can put the fear of any African American who has any desire to connect to the continent. Now, the first thing he said after he was talking about the different cultures is that he traveled to Nigeria. Then he said they told him not to go to the countryside because it was dangerous. That proceeded for him saying that Nigerians don't love African Americans. Now, nowhere in there did he say that the Nigerians didn't want him to go to the countryside because he was from America or that he was African American. He never said that. So it can just be assumed that that was not said. That him going to the countryside had nothing to do with him being African American. It has something to do with him not being from there. And so when you're not from there, you don't want to travel to a place that you don't know anything about. Now, what I don't understand is why he's sitting there acting like that same type of scariness or same type of thing doesn't happen in the United States of America, as far as there being places in the United States of America where you don't want to go to. It's dangerous. When you go to places that you never been before, the people will tell you, no, you don't want to go over there. No, it's dangerous there. It's violence going on there. You don't need to be over there unless you're from there, you live there, you got a reason to be over there. No, leave that area alone. I come from a small town in the United States, and there are a lot of areas in that town that I'm not going to when it gets dark time. And my parents told me that early No, no, you're not going over that area. No, you don't have no business over there. It's dangerous. So he acting like Nigeria, with the countryside being dangerous, like we don't have dangerous places in the United States of America where people ain't going. What gets me about this type of talk that he's doing is that he's talking like a lot of Americans be talking. He's talking like, America don't have flaws. Like America doesn't have imperfections. Like America doesn't have negative things happening. And that's what a lot of Americans want to just travel around the world and act like America is nothing wrong with it. Everything is good. All the people is good. Everybody's safe. Everything is just hunky-dory because you're living in America. And it's just like, no, it is not. There is a lot of stuff going on in the United States of America. The violence that happens in the United States of America. Now, he said in the video, don't go to the countryside of Nigeria. Now, he didn't say don't go to the store. He didn't say don't go to the bus stop. He didn't say don't go to somebody's house because it's dangerous. He just said the countryside. In the United States of America, kids cannot even go to school and feel safe anymore. You can't go to the grocery store. You don't know if you would make it home. You can't even have a barbecue out on your back lawn. Something could happen. Sleeping in your home, something could happen. There is so much violence going on in the United States right now. It is ridiculous. And the only people that continue to have this mentality, as if everything is so great in the United States of America, are the people who've never left it. They don't know any other life. They don't know that there's something else out there. It's only after you've traveled and you've been to other places that you say to yourself, oh, well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the United States of America that we definitely need to improve. But if you've not stepped foot off of that continent, you wouldn't know. You would have no idea. You'd be sitting around here thinking everybody else is struggling, everybody else is at war. Knowing good and well, America is also at war. Is there any explosions, any bombs, no, none of that's going on. But there's definitely guns. Gun violence is definitely going on. There's definitely a race war going on. There's a lot of different wars going on in the United States of America, but a lot of times Americans still think that they are better off than everybody else in the entire world. And it's only after you travel outside that you realize, is it really? Are Americans really better off? Then he went further to talk about how the countries of Africa, they love black celebrities because black celebrities have money. Again, people in the United States of America love black celebrities. They love celebrities, period. A lot of people worship celebrities, spending thousands of dollars to go see a celebrity in concert. So is that just something that's just conducive to the African continent, to the African countries? They're the only ones that care about celebrities? I think not. I think not. Because people in the United States of America, they love black celebrities as well. So, yeah, on that. And it's clear that he has not been watching a lot of social media, because if he did, then he would see the countless amounts of just regular old average African Americans who are going over to these countries and living and investing and building, and they are prospering in these countries of Africa. So obviously, he hasn't been on social media enough to know that there is a lot of channels out there that are showing and showcasing a lot of African Americans who are not celebrities, who are going over there to these countries and they're being welcomed there. So it's clear he just sees what he wants to see, and so from what I can tell, he ain't seeing nothing. He ain't seeing nothing. He obviously is still in the countryside because he ain't seeing anything. Because if he saw anything, he would see how wrong that statement was, that they just want the black celebrities. Now, there's a lot of people that go to various places for various reasons. It's funny that it's okay when people go to Dubai. People are going to Dubai to spend money. Dubai is a very expensive place to go to. They wanted to spend their money. And they making Dubai very rich. And Dubai does whatever it can to keep it up so people can continue to travel there. You got places like Jamaica, who they keep up their tourist areas too. Just a tourist area from what I hear. The rest of it is a little different. But where you're going to see the tourist area, it's a very nice area for people to come. So they're going to keep that up so that people can come and spend their money. But why is it that when it comes to these countries of Africa, they can't do the same thing? They also can't do what's necessary to bring tourists to them, to bring money into their countries. When they do it, all of a sudden, they trying to milk people, they trying to extort people, they trying to do this, they trying to do that. Everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is getting money from tourists as much as they can. But when the countries of Africa do it, it's a problem. It's a situation. Oh, you trying to extort us. Oh, you trying to use us. Well, isn't that what tourism is? Isn't that the purpose of tourism? Is to bring money into the country? Ain't that what it's for? So you come into the African continent to do what? Not spend money? So it's only the African continent that you don't need to spend money on. All the other countries you go in with thousands of dollars and not complaining about how expensive it is. It's only when you go to the African continent and these African countries that all of a sudden, they trying to milk me for every money I got. Really? It's just that. It's just that continent. It's not the same as when you went to Jamaica the year before. So, in his video, he has the same type of mentality that I've heard some African Americans say when people are going to these African countries, that they just want your money. Well, tell me a tourist attraction, a tourist place anywhere that doesn't want your money. Otherwise, it's not going to be a tourist area. Otherwise, they're going to go out of business. People want money everywhere. It's how we survive. Like what? Like really? Okay. So the next thing he says is an argument that I've heard many times as far as why are African Americans leaving a first world country, leaving a country with so many opportunities to go to the African continent, to go to these African countries. Opportunities. African Americans are leaving because they want to feel safe. They don't care about those opportunities. Opportunities are not keeping their family safe. Opportunities are not keeping them safe. They are saying that their safety and their peace of mind is more than the so-called many opportunities in the United States. They're done with that. Their safety and their peace of mind is more valuable than the so-called opportunities that are there. And I don't know why they don't understand that. These African Americans are leaving because they are wanting to live. They are tired of just surviving. They are tired of going through the same old process over and over again, and nothing is changing in the United States of America for African Americans. They are tired of waiting for things to change. and so they're leaving. Now, I'm not for certain what opportunities he's talking about, because when African Americans leave the United States of America, they're not leaving for better opportunities. So he's talking about when people move to the United States. Yes, people move to the United States for better opportunities, for better jobs, maybe for better education and things like that. But when African Americans are moving, most of them have already been working, and they have already retired, and they're looking for something new. And what the new they're looking for is a new life, a new way of living, to be able to get up in the morning and not worry about their safety. Now he's sitting over talking about danger. How many African countries have he been to again? One. I've been to Ghana five times. And not one time being in Ghana that I fear for my safety. Riding on the tra-tra, going to the marketplace, going to the mall, I was not looking over my shoulder, hoping that someone was not behind me, going to attack me, going to take my life, take my children's life, take my husband's life. None of that ever crosses my mind. We live overseas. There's only one incident I can say in my whole time that I've been here that I was afraid for my life. But that's not something that happens all the time. But in the United States of America, when I go home, I keep my children close to me. Oh no, y'all can't go too far, because I don't know what's gonna pop off. It is a whole different type of mentality that I have to brings to my mind when I go back to the United States of America. It is not an easy feeling. It's very uneasy. And it's only after you've traveled outside of the United States that you understand the difference between the environments when you go to certain countries. And it's clear that he hasn't traveled much. Because if he traveled much, he would have a different tone in what he is saying. So it's crazy that the last thing he says was that they gonna go to war, they gonna have a genocide, the African continent is gonna have a genocide, they gonna what ain't that not where America's heading off to? How many times have they said on the news that America might be headed to a second civil war? That has been said time and time again, that it might be headed to a second civil war. There's been many people over there talking about they ready to go to war, ready to get their guns out, because things ain't happening the way they want to. Things is changing. People getting rights that they don't want people to have rights. I mean, that kind of stuff is happening in the United States of America. That's what you need to be worried about. You need to be worried about that. I would guarantee you that when that happens, people gonna be flying right on out to the African countries, and ain't nothing gonna be going on over there. And nothing's going to be going on over there. I guarantee you that. So that kind of stuff right there. It's just like you don't have a basis for anything you're saying. You're just spewing a whole lot of fear, a whole lot of hatred for what? Just to keep African Americans from going to the African continent? Just because somebody said that Africa loves you? I mean, that triggers you so bad that you gotta do all that. You could just say, okay, well, if that's what you believe, and keep it moving. But every time somebody says something positive about the African continent, or they say that the African continent loves African Americans, you have people like this. They'll come out of the woodwork. I mean, it triggers them. Africa triggers them to the point where they just fly off the handle. They just fly off the handle, and that's exactly what he's doing. So all through this video, the only thing he pointed out was every negative thing he could think about on the African continent is what he want to throw out there. And that can always be combated with the negative stuff happening in America. And he's still living there. He's still talking good about America, ain't it? It's funny that America can have all the corruption, they can have all the violence, they can have all the bad things going on, and people will still stand there people would still stand there and say that this country is better than any other country in the world. Even though it's been proven in various other countries in Europe where there's low crime, low hunger, low homelessness, universal health care happening in these other countries. And it's just like, so what is America compared to these other advanced countries that they're supposed to be up with? They're supposed to be up with these advanced countries. He said it's a first world country, but they're the only first world country without universal health care. The only one without universal health care, where everybody has health care. And I'm talking about the top of the top countries out there. They are all taking care of their citizens. Healthcare should be first on the list, and we can't even give that to the people. They can't even give that to the people. It doesn't bother me that there are some African Americans who have no interest in the African continent. It does not bother me whatsoever. Everybody is entitled to their opinion, but it bothers me though when people start to try to make the African country seem evil or make it seem just the lowest of the low in order to justify how they feel about it. If you don't want to go to the African country, African continent, then don't go. But don't sit there and try to make it this bad place to go or bad place to be just because you have a hatred for it, because you have some sort of, whatever feeling you have towards it. And so you want to then perpetuate that very negative mindset, very negative mentality to other African Americans who have a desire to go there. That's what my problem is. That's what needs to stop. All right, you all. That is all I have to say on that. I think it's crazy that this type of stuff is still being said. And you know what? As long as it's been said, I'm going to speak on it because it's just getting a little ridiculous. I am Michele Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.